Everyone, welcome back to Raw FPL. So in this one, it's the Game Week 9 team selection. Game Week 8, yeah, went okay. I had a green arrow, which is nice. Obviously, it was quite a low scoring game week. So yeah, I'm going to quickly go over how I did in Game Week 8. Just thoughts on transfers. Obviously, we do have Champions League on tonight. So yeah, I would advise that you hold off any transfers as long as you can, just because there could be injuries coming up. But yeah, I'll quickly discuss my thoughts on the transfers and how the team's looking for Game Week 9. So if you do like this one, please do drop a like and please hit subscribe if you're new. It really does help support the channel. So yeah, I appreciate all of your support. And yeah, let's jump into it. So before we look at Game Week 9, let's take a look at Game Week 8. And yeah, it was an okay green arrow. I think I was about 3.7 million, which is not ideal. Obviously, I had a terrible game week in Game Week 7. Slightly better this time. Obviously, the average was only 36 points, which is the lowest average so far this season. So if you did get a low score, I wouldn't worry too much. I think it was a bit of a disaster for everyone. So 40 points. Henderson, 3 points. He did get some save points, but I don't know how he let that goal in, to be honest. Chris Wood smacked it from miles out, and yeah, you'd expect him to save it, to be honest, but it just flaky wrist just went straight through him. So Henderson not keeping a clean sheet again, but I'm not going to use a transfer on him just because I've got my wild card, and I think most of the points are they seem to be made in the midfield, switching the premiums around. So yeah, Henderson in 3, Guardiola. He just looks he looks really good. I'm glad I stuck with him. He's obviously got good fixtures coming up. Southampton at home next. He's getting into more attacking position. Yeah, what a strike that was from the outside of the box. So Guardiola, I think if you've got Saliba, he is definitely a good target. Guardiola's got. He looks like he's been getting I wouldn't say nailed, but he's been getting consistent minutes. And then yeah, he's got Southampton, Bournemouth, and Brighton. I think if you're debating doing it, you have to do it this week really, because that Southampton at home fixture is so good. So yeah, happy with him. Mazraoui, he had some kind of like heart operation, so he came on for 1 point, which was a bit annoying. But fast on the bench, he only got 1 anyway, so it didn't make too much difference. I think he will be okay going forward, but again, we'll have to kind of see in the Europa League if he starts. But yeah, West Ham away, it's a fine fixture to have. I'm happy playing him if he's starting. If he's not, I'll just bench him and I can just play fast, so that's fine. And Gabriel, again, I'm quite glad I didn't go for the double Arsenal defence, especially with the fixtures coming up now. Obviously, they've not managed to keep a clean sheet for Leicester, Southampton, or Bournemouth, and now they've got Liverpool, Newcastle, Chelsea, and then Forest. So if you have got the double up, I don't mind selling him, especially if you've got Saliba. Like I said, a move to Guardiola's probably seems sensible. There's Aït-Nouri as well. Wolves have got really good fixtures coming up. So he could be. I think he's got 4 attacker returns already, and they've had difficult fixtures. So Aït-Nouri could be a really good option as well. And I'm actually considering him, which I'll talk about in the next section. But yeah, Gabriel 1 point. So the defence, Guardiola the only one to return, and there's not many returns elsewhere. Obviously, Salah with a big 12 points. He looks really good. Again, I was going to sell him, but there's not. I don't know, the premiums. That's obviously where all the kind of transfers are going at the moment. But once you get past the Arsenal game, who obviously they've now got Saliba suspended, so and they don't have Odegaard, Saka's a doubt, and they're just not looking 100% Arsenal. So Salah could definitely get something in that game. So I am tempted to keep him, because after that Arsenal game, you've then got Brighton at home, which I expect he'll be able to score quite a lot, and then Villa, and then it's Southampton. But again, I'm probably going to wildcard in 12, so that Southampton game doesn't matter too much. But Brighton at home and Villa at home, I think they're 2 pretty good fixtures for Salah. So I'm definitely tempted to keep hold of him, and he's a differential, as much a differential as he can be. So yeah, I'm debating keeping hold of him now. Smith Rowe got the 1 point. Johnson, I don't know how they didn't return. I looked in, I saw it was 4-1, and I've obviously got Solanke and Johnson. So I thought, right, I've got loads of points here, and obviously none of them did anything. I was so close to going for Son, but obviously I decided to keep Salah. And I think it was the right decision in the end. I ended up on more points. But yeah, how Johnson and Solanke didn't get any points there, it's a joke really. And then Eze, Yeah, he didn't score again, but his XG is again he's 0.3. Um, I mean, he's been unlucky. He hit the crossbar. He had a really good a good save. I think it was Sells who made that really good save, and I think he will get chances against Spurs, especially at home. I mean, he's got Wolves and Fulham, so I sort of want to keep hold of him, even though he's been rubbish. And also, now that Mateta's not been starting, Eze should have penalties. But yeah, I mean, I can see why you want to get rid of him if you do have him, especially like Mbeumo. He seems like an obvious choice. So I might do a swap Eze to Mbeumo, but I'll have to get some more funds from elsewhere. So I'll talk about it in the next section. But yeah, Eze, I do sort of want to keep him, but I think Mbeumo, he's got Ipswich at home next. But I've just, I don't know, Eze, I've been patient for long enough, but I do think he's not a priority sell, I don't think. Um, Unless you can just do a swap for Mbeumo, then I still think he's fine to keep because Spurs at home, Spurs have been defending terribly, and then they've got Wolves and Fulham. So if you need to hold him, if you've got other things to do, I think keeping hold of Eze is fine. And then yeah, Solanke playing really deep doesn't look ideal, but he's got good fixtures coming up, so I'm gonna hold him. Yeah, I mean, hopefully he's gonna get some. I don't think he even had a shot in the last game, which is a bit worrying. But yeah, I'm just gonna hold him again. Really good fixture on Palace, Villa, Ipswich. So if you don't, I don't know if I'd buy him. If you've got like a Havertz, maybe a Havertz to Solanke could work because Havertz, he's got really difficult fixtures. But again, I don't think that's like a need to do. I think that's a luxury move, really. But yeah, I mean, Spurs, obviously, Son's the one you want to go for. He is obviously a lot more expensive, so I'm happy to have Johnson, happy to have Solanke, but just hope they do something next week. And then Haaland, we're on three blanks in a row now. He just doesn't look, especially with De Bruyne and not back and Foden not starting, he doesn't look the same. But having said that, you've got Southampton, Bournemouth, and Brighton. So there's just no way that I would sell him ahead of this Southampton at home. There's talk about triple captain, but I don't know. You want the form. You've obviously got the fixture there, but there's no kind of form there. It's blanked in the last three. I think if Foden starts, it's definitely better for him, and I think Foden will, which again I'll talk about in the next section. But yeah, Haaland captain 2 points. I was quite close to captain Salah, but yeah, I went with Haaland just because Wolves bottom of the league. But to be fair to Wolves, they did do pretty well, and they've got some quite good fixtures coming up. So yeah, Haaland blank, and then Havertz. Obviously, 10 men Arsenal blanks as well. As I said, the bench didn't do well. Actually, saying that, Winks did get an assist, but yeah, bench didn't really do much either. So yeah, 40 points. I'll just talk about the transfers I'm thinking of making now. Slight green arrow up to about 3.2 million, so it's still not where I want to be. But I do have this wildcard in my back pocket, and I think the team looks relatively okay. 2 free transfers. Let's just talk about what I'm going to do for game week 9. So game week 9 then, this is how the team is shaping up. I've got 2 transfers. I've got 0.1 in the bank, and yeah, it looks fine, but there's a few players that I'm probably missing. So Henderson net, again, not really expecting much, but hopefully can get some save points. Guardiola, happy to have him. Southampton at home, really good fixture. As I say, if you've got Saliba, I think he is, especially if you've got the double up. If you've gone for Raya and Saliba, I think Saliba to Guardiola makes a lot of sense because obviously the Arsenal fixtures aren't great coming up, and yeah, I think especially if if you have got Gabriel, then maybe keep him. But if you've got Saliba, then yeah, I think it's just quite an easy sell, to be honest. If you do have a good bench, you could obviously bench him, but the fixtures just aren't great, so I would probably look to get Guardiola in. Mazraoui again. If there's any word that he's going to get benched, I can just play fast. That's fine. And then Gabriel. Liverpool at home, not expecting a clean sheet. He could obviously get a goal, like a header goal, but Gabriel is one that I'm tempted to move on, which yeah, I'm tempted to do. Gabriel out, and then I could get either Nori, because, as I said, his fixtures coming up are pretty good. But as I said, I've got the wild card, so Brighton away, I'm not expecting a clean sheet there, and then Palace and Southampton. So they're the two good fixtures there. But for this game week 9, I'm just not expecting a clean sheet. So I could definitely do that, and then that would give me the funds to get Eze up to Mbeumo, who I think Mbeumo, this fixture, Ipswich at home, is just a perfect fixture for him. He's even a captaincy shout, to be fair. But yeah, Mbeumo, that's kind of the moves I'm thinking. But as I said, I don't like that Brighton fixture. So then I'm thinking of other, defenders. I don't want any Liverpool because they're playing Arsenal. I don't want any Arsenal because they've got terrible fixtures. The only other one I'm sort of debating is Lewis, which I know seems a bit crazy going for a double up on Man City defence when they've been defending terrible, but Southampton at home, surely there's a clean sheet there. And then it's Bournemouth and Brighton, which isn't ideal, but I feel like I've been quite lucky that he's not hauled yet because obviously he's sort of playing as a midfielder, isn't he? So yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Do Lewis in and Mbeumo in, and then Gabriel out and Eze out. Again, I just want Mbeumo because his fixtures are so good. Ipswich, Fulham, Bournemouth, and then Everton. But obviously I'll be wildcarding anyway, so yeah, I think that's probably the moves I will make. Something that I was looking at as well, like I said, I don't actually mind keeping Eze. So I was looking at getting potentially rid of Havertz and getting Wissa in. So again, he's back from injury, a differential. It's only 5.9 million, 2.2% owned. And look at these fixtures: Ipswich, Fulham, Bournemouth, Everton, Leicester. So if you want a cheap forward, I think Wissa definitely good. You could also go for like the Wolves boys. Larsson's only 5.5. But yeah, I could do Wissa against Ipswich, and I'm just off. If I get Foden here, I'm just off there. I'm so close to getting it. So that would have been ideal, but I can't do that because I do think Foden will start because Grealish is out for the next 7 to 10 days, and then Doku's out now apparently as well. So I think Foden is probably going to be like playing. So yeah, if you want to punt on Foden now, I think it's the time to do it. Southampton, Bournemouth, Brighton, and for an attacker, they look miles better. So ideally, I'd do that, and I could potentially just get Larsson in. So I could do that. So yeah, they're the kind of two options really. But the only thing is, then I don't have Mbeumo. So yeah, it's whether or not I go without Mbeumo and I take this sort of chance on Foden. I just think Southampton at home is such a good fixture. They're going to be looking to try and prove a point because Haaland especially he's not been scoring recently. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. But I think probably the most likely outcome what I'll do is Lewis in, and then I'd get Mbeumo. That's probably what it'll look like. It's a double Man City defence. Mazraoui in there, as I said, that can be fast. Mbeumo home to Ipswich on penalties. It's been absolutely brilliant this season. I think Wissa only makes him better as well. Like their link-up play is good. Johnson, obviously Son is the ideal Spurs player to have, but I've got Salah here. So, I kind of want to keep Salah now, as I said. I could potentially get Salah down to Son, but I just think I do want Salah for these next, these ones after this. Brighton, Villa, and as I say, Southampton, but I'll be wildcarding. So, but yeah, and also Saliba, now that he's out, I think Salah could do well against Arsenal, to be honest. And then yeah, Smith Rowe again, Fulham. If you want a cheap midfielder, Everton, Brentford, Palace, Wolves, really good fixtures coming up now. Also Jimenez, he's been doing really well. So if you want a cheap forward, I think the forwards, in my opinion, I think Wissa, if you want a bit of a punt, he's probably the best. Second best, I'd probably say either Cunha or probably Cunha or Larsson. I'd probably go for Cunha, to be honest. But yeah, Larsson still if you need some budget. And then I'd go for Wood as well. He's got really good fixtures coming up. obviously scored last night. What was it, Monday night? Monday night, wasn't it? Leicester, West Ham, Newcastle. But again, then his fixtures get difficult. So, yeah, I'd probably go for Wissa, take a punt on him. Ipswich at home, he should start. He came on. Fulham, then Bournemouth, then Everton and Leicester. So yeah, that's the plan. Solanke up top, Haaland captain, Havertz against Liverpool, which, yeah, I mean, there definitely could be goals in that game, and Havertz, he's probably going to be involved. So I'm happy to have him, but equally he could go to someone like a Larson or like a Wissa. But as I said, if I do the Lewis and Mbeumo move, then Havertz will stay. And then captain Haaland, I think, yes, he's blanked 3 times, but it's such a good fixture. We all know what he can do. So yeah, I wouldn't risk it, I don't think. There's not really any other standout captain other than Mbeumo. So if you don't have Haaland, maybe Mbeumo's the one to go for. You could also look to go for Palmer against Newcastle. But yeah, I think Haaland is definitely the one for me. Really good fixture. And Foden, if he does play, which he should, then he'll have that creativity behind him. So yeah, there's even a debate for triple captain. But as I said, I think you probably want, ideally wait for a double fixture. But yeah, Southampton home is pretty good fixture. I'll just be captaining, probably not using my triple captain. And as I said, I think the transfers there will be Mbeumo in, Eze out, and then Lewis in, Gabriel out. So yeah, let me know what you think. That's the kind of plan. And then going into game week 10, again, it doesn't look too bad, and there's even a consideration there for Salah to be captain, which, yeah, Brighton at home, really good fixture, and I think that looks pretty good. So I'd probably look to roll this one, and just try and save up some transfers. And even going forward then to 11, again, looks really good. All of them got really good fixtures. Johnson, Solanke against Ipswich. Obviously Salah, again, decent enough fixture. And then, yeah, I'll probably wildcard in game week 12. So that's the rough plan. As I said, I'll put in the comments of this video just what I actually end up doing, because it's still a bit up in the air. I'm going to wait to see all the Champions League games, see if there's any injuries, and then, yeah, we'll take it from there. So yeah, best of luck. I'll catch you again after the game week's finished. So I'll see you then. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you did like this one, please do drop a like, and please hit subscribe if you're new. And I'll catch you again next time. Cheers.